Oh, I wanna feel something. I just wanna breathe again. Dive into the deep end.
Breast implants have become a big business. In fact, the industry is booming at over $2 billion. That is a lot of jack being spent on the quest for the perfect pair. Bangers, boobs, tits, badonkers, a rack, jugs, tatas, melons, juggernauts, and knockers. The female body has been the focus of attention and expectation since the beginning of time, but fads are fickle. We are not here to tell you what's right or wrong with your body. That's your choice. Our hope is to provide you with some education and inspiration so you can make an informed decision.
I started getting headaches.
Very tired.
Chronic exhaustion.
I couldn't walk.
Hair loss was extreme.
That I couldn't feed myself.
I can't believe that these were at one point in my body.
We were lucky enough to find Emilia, who has made the decision to have her breast implants removed, and we are going to follow her journey. But what's important to note is she's taking a preventative step before having major complications. Well, I was curious. Emilia is young and beautiful and healthy. Why would she even decide to have breast implants put in?
I grew up in the Venezuelan culture, and it's just the standards are so high. As a woman, it's what you wear, how you dress, how you walk, how you look. It all had to be a tight, slim figure. I'm so committed to doing this surgery because I know that if I prolong this, it's just gonna get worse. And today, I decide to choose myself. And these implants do not go with that vision of myself anymore.
Most of us have experienced some type of trauma with our body and how we view it. It comes from us looking at images and feeling not quite good enough, not tall enough, not thin enough, or maybe it's the voice of somebody we care about. I remember the exact moment when my wound landed. I was 16 years old. I just started to date an older boy, and we were doing some of the things that teenagers do, and he asked me to stand up so he could take a look at me. I was wearing my bra and panties, and he said, "Turn around," and I heard him take in a breath and say, "It's okay." And I felt like I had been knifed. As soon as he left, I ran downstairs, grabbed a mirror, and for the first time, saw what he saw. And unfortunately, his voice was echoing in my mind because I thought, it really isn't good enough. And that carried with me for decades. In fact, that was such a strong imprint and wound for me that as soon as I was able, I went under the knife myself and had liposuction to that back area. And unfortunately, it did change the physical appearance, but it didn't really change how I perceived myself or what the perfect body should look like, and that I wasn't quite matching up. That was my moment. Well, let's listen as some other women share what prompted them to change their body.
We consider women in Brazil in the type of body is they have a bigger waist and a small breast. So this culture of not accepting your body, it started in young age. Teenagers at the time. I'm talking about more than 30 years ago.
I just always remember everybody staring at my chest. And I would always be like, why are they talking to me staring at my chest and not my eyes? You know, and I do remember being young, and my father was playing cards, and I had just developed, and he said, "Wow, where did you get those beautiful breasts?" And I just wanted to crawl under the table. I must have been like 11, 12. I had 3 kids in 3 years, and I nursed each one for a year. So I was pregnant and nursing for 6 straight years. And 6 months after finishing nursing, I, just felt they were, just skin. I hadn't really allowed my body to rebound. And I felt just disfigured.
There was a time when I was, I believe in 3rd grade, and I was walking home from school, and there were kids that were across the street, and I could hear them. This is my body issue with my legs. I could hear them say, "Oh my God, look at those thunder trunks, look at those legs, or look, thunder thighs." And from that moment on, I think is when I started really being critical of my body and what I look like. In fact, I think third grade, because I was about 10 when I started to starve myself and really restrict with food, because I wanted to make sure that I could be that, that skinny, perfect person.
I remember going into a store that sold villager clothes. I don't know who might remember those. And the mannequins, they had these little shirts all tucked in, and the mannequins had big boobs. And I always looked at those and thought, I want to look like that.
I just had 3 children, and as you know, as you breastfeed children, your boobs let go.
I had my first 2 children when I was 23 and 25. And at that point in my life, I always just really felt like I wanted my pre-body back.
We have to trust our intuition, our bodies, and really know what's right for us. Once we've exhausted the testing, the medical aspect of it, maybe we have to look within.
Emilia did her research and found some amazing medical professionals. And for her surgeon, Dr. Fredric Barr out of West Palm Beach, Florida, was a perfect choice. He is a physician that has dedicated himself to only taking breast implants out and never putting another breast implant in.
When we talk about BII, or breast implant associated illness, it's not a medical condition. What I'm hearing, what I'm seeing are a constellation of symptoms patients are bringing in here. Whether it's loss of hair, whether it's skin, whether it's brain fog, whether it's neuralgias, whether it's endocrinologic conditions, thyroid, whatever it is, there's a whole host of things that are being lumped into this category associated with implants. I stopped putting in implants 5 years ago. I took a step back because my feeling is that we're doing the science now, we're doing the studies, the things that need to be done to try and make this as safe as possible. I would suggest anybody that's looking to do implants really have that heart-to-heart talk with their physician and get through their, I think there's even a black box warning out at this point. The FDA has done that.
I was so tired. My hair loss was extreme.
I didn't actually realize that one was leaking until I had a pain shoot intermittently up through my arm, and then up into my shoulder, and then went down into my arm.
4 years after implanting, I couldn't ignore symptoms anymore. Now I feel like I have the flu all day long. My hair is falling out in clumps. I have these weird dizzy spells. It's hard for me to walk upstairs. I am just, everything's starting to fall apart.
And just as important as finding the plastic surgeon, it's a good idea to get your internal health assessed. And Emilia found Dr. Anjali Noble out of Boca Raton, Florida, and you might recognize her from earlier because she also had her breast implants removed.
When Emilia first came in, her basic labs were essentially normal, other than having some estrogen dominance and some vitamin D deficiency. Her regular markers for basic inflammation were normal, but when we looked further into neuroinflammation, those markers were all elevated and out of range. And a lot of times it starts with the brain fog, it starts with the memory issues. You have a difficult time remembering recent events. If you find you're losing your keys, or all of a sudden you're just feeling completely anxious and things are just, you don't feel like yourself, and then you start getting cramps, and then your eyes twitch, and you're just getting weird symptoms as time progresses, you're not crazy. There are many reasons that you can be having all these symptoms, right? But a lot of times these women are told that they're crazy. Let's put you on some Prozac. Let's put you on some of these antidepressants, anti-anxiety medications, without getting to the core problem.
For some with implants, the complications just stay mild and annoying. But as you're getting ready to hear, sometimes things take a serious turn.
Right away, like right after I got my breast implants, I started getting headaches and I started gaining weight, which There was nothing I could do to take that off. I could starve myself. I could do all my old routines and nothing would take that weight off.
After getting the implants, I had noticed almost immediately chronic exhaustion. I could hardly function through my day. I was really struggling. We lived in a very small rural town and I would have to drive about 25 minutes if I wanted to go to like a Walmart or Costco or anything, and I couldn't even drive to that town without having to pull over on the side of the road and have a nap.
I'm really excited about feeling good again because it's really tiring to wake up in the morning and feel exhausted and look in the mirror and have like dark circles and bags under my eyes and feel foggy and not feel the same motivation or inspiration that I do, that spark.
I was so sick that I couldn't walk up a flight of stairs. I was so sick that I couldn't feed myself. I was so sick that I only had a couple foods I could eat at the end. I was at my rock bottom. I was writing letters to my children saying, I'm so sorry. You know, I think I'm gonna die. I don't know what I'm gonna die from.
The quest for perfection isn't always the reason why women choose to have breast implants. Meet Leslie Nygaard. As a younger woman, she decided, yes, I want implants to make me look prettier. And they worked. She was very happy. But then one day, a shocking diagnosis rocked her world: cancer.
I was laying on the table, and it's a very concrete memory for me when she did the ultrasound of my armpit, where you have a lot of lymph nodes. I could see it, just like when women are having a baby and they have an ultrasound, you can see the screen right next to you, and I can see all my lymph nodes matted. And so unfortunately, because I was a science major in college, I knew right away that that meant that there was cancer in my lymph nodes. So I knew that I was at minimum stage 3. And when you have breast cancer, they disrupt your hormones, you gain weight, you lose your hair, and you lose your breasts. And I think for most women, at least in my generation, your hair and your breasts are what make you feel like a woman.
She then decided to reconstruct naturally using her own body tissue.
Today, the chest that I have is all my own tissue. I think that I'm super fortunate in the world of breast cancer because my cancer was advanced when I was first diagnosed. I was told that I had about an 11% chance to make it to 5 years. Today, what makes me really happy is living close to the ocean, being able to go out on my boat, taking out my stand-up paddleboard, playing golf and tennis. It's summer 365 days a year. In August 20th of 2022, I completed 13 years of being cancer-free.
Many women are experiencing complications and may not even realize that it's their breast implants that are causing them.
I didn't associate my symptoms with my implants, and I don't think many women do. I think it takes a long time before we say, it's the implants that are making me sick.
My body rejected and encapsulated, and encapsulation is a consequence of the implant.
2 or 3 years after I had a traumatic event, and I wasn't taking care of myself like I usually do, eating clean, doing everything that I do to support my health, and I developed contracture. I couldn't lay on my chest because it was like a ball, you know what I mean? Like it was uncomfortable, and you could see that one was a little higher than the other. It was just, it started to change. So when I was wearing my sports bra, whatever, one looked very, very natural and the other one looked like a ball. Like, and it just felt weird. It was just weird to feel this hard thing in your body.
What they did is trying to break the gel. They call it squeezing gel, or squeezing that capsule. So the doctors started hugging me and pressing that capsule to break it.
You're scared to death to explant. I mean, it's a surgery. Nobody, you know, you're scared. It's not fun. Nobody wants to do it. And when I'm in the the OR or pre-op, and they're marking me again for a third time, they look at me, they look at how beautiful they look, and they said, "Why are you doing this? Why are you messing with them?" And I mean, I had tears in my eyes. I'm like, they're making me sick. It's making me sick. And, I did the surgery and it was ruptured. The implant was ruptured, just like I had suspected. And within 10 days, my lymph node went away, swelling in my arm went away. Pathology was negative for any cancer.
To be completely honest, I thought there would be one critical factor that impacted women's decision to have breast implants, and that's men. Well, we've already heard that maybe that isn't a driving factor, but I thought it was important to check in and hear what they have to say.
What initially attracts me to a woman is usually her energy, because I like to be around energy that settles me, that allows me to know that no matter what's going on around me, everything's gonna be okay.
The natural body God gave you is beautiful the way it is, and I feel like you should respect your body and not do anything of any sort to try to change it. And I feel like the best way to change your body is by working out and by doing it the natural, healthy way.
Breasts are important to me. I like breasts on a woman, but the size of the breast does not matter to me. I don't care whether they're small or big. The woman itself is what I care about.
The most attractive traits in a woman to me is happiness, joy, peace, confidence, knowing who they are, having a sense of self-identity. Those are the things that really attract me to somebody, because they're not looking for someone to complete them.
But my husband was actually against it. He felt that I was beautiful just the way I was, and he didn't want me to take the risk, and he tried to persuade me out of the decision. And one day I just felt I couldn't even look at myself, and I was like, I have to do this. I can't feel good anymore.
In the meantime, though, I had met a wonderful man that I started dating, and that's my husband now. And he kept telling me, no, you're perfect the way you are. Like he did not want me to get breast implants, but I was like, no, I will not be complete until I get, until I have this. Then I'm 100% good. Like nothing else. I need nothing else.
Amelia's getting closer to her surgery with Dr. Barr. Let's check in and see how she's doing.
I'm just a day away from my surgery, and I'm feeling excited and eager to get it over with. The recovery process, I know it's going to be challenging, but I have my mind set, ready to go. I've spoken to a lot of women. Dr. Barr has done an amazing job at informing me of the process, so I'm mentally prepared, and I know I'm in great hands, so I feel very confident about that. We're getting close. We're getting close. It's almost time.
Go in, make the incision, go in, and we're just carefully, slowly removing that capsule to make sure we can get all the capsule out as best as possible. I'm looking then at the capsule itself. If I see anything that's really adverse, that's the time that I would take executive decision and send it off, because routinely we don't necessarily send off the capsules. But in her case, everything looked wonderful. There was nothing untoward that I saw. We take the capsule out, we get the bleeding to stop, because now we've created a pocket. It's a raw area under the muscle on top of the ribs. We'll wash it out with a triple antibiotic solution, including betadine. That basically will kill off anything, bugs, fungus, yeast, anything and everything that people have reported in the past. We don't routinely take cultures, because we know once we've washed out with what's called a jet pulsation lavage, we've pretty much taken care and cleaned that area out. Then we'll go ahead and put the drain in. At that point, the next part is the cosmetic procedure, which is trying to make the breast look as nice as we can, tying the skin, taking extra skin out, raising the nipple, doing all the things that we would for the lift. And at that point, we're about 3.5 hours in, and that's when we stop. Everything was great.
These are Emilia's actual implants, and you can see the capsule that has formed around hers. This is what your body will naturally do to protect itself from a foreign object like an implant. Emilia is done with her explant. Let's hear how she did.
Today I am 5 days post-op, and I could not be more happy. I feel so good and energized all day long, and I'm really surprised at how fast I've been healing and how
quickly I've been recovering. So I'm super happy so far with the results. Today I got my drains out, and I'm looking forward to each day and each week just getting better and more energy.
I'm really excited that her labs improved. 5 weeks later, the estrogen dominance was resolved, and her neuroinflammatory markers had all normalized. It was incredible. It was really exciting to see.
I couldn't be happier with Emilia. I just think that she's been an amazingly great patient. She listened to things, we talked, we communicated, so eye to eye. She's done everything we've asked, and hopefully she's thrilled. I know that I am.
I was so thrilled that Emilia came in when she did, because when she first came, she looked dull, dragged herself in here, and then after the explant, 5 weeks later, she was a different person. And it was thrilling to watch and to see the transformation.
While it might take some time, some of the women noticed immediate changes.
Good thing was, within 3 weeks, I felt better than I had felt before I had kids. Like, I felt amazing. I was like, you gotta be kidding. I forgot what it felt like to feel good. So I know that it was affecting me this whole time. I was like, oh my God, what happened? My light bulb went on in my brain. I was just so happy. Like, I could cry. So happy that it was just, made such a big difference.
I'm happy that I'm healthy, and I wake up every day with that. And that's all that matters to me now. I can, I'm not ashamed of, my body or who I am, my grandmother.
I felt emotionally free, light, and able to do anything. This friend of mine, he was having a financial issues, and I was advising him. I just had to do the explant. And I was so excited, and I said, listen, let's do here a mantra of abundance, So repeat with me. I am wealth, I'm abundance, I'm joy. I'm wealth, I'm abundance, I'm joy. And then he looked at me and said, Anasuya, are you on mushrooms? Because all the time I had these positive things to say, creating mantras for everybody. I felt that I could do anything, And now I'm not closing any, but, I feel like I can use different clothes. I feel open my chest, feeling the wind, and that I love my body. And the first question is, why it took me so long to do these explants?
Sometimes there is a silver lining to our personal trauma, and Terry, who had a horrific breast implant experience, has now dedicated herself to educating and inspiring women.
I missed out on all of their games. Now they're in high school, and I missed out on a lot of their events because now mommy's sick. I remember distinctly the moment that when I was laying on my couch, because I couldn't go upstairs anymore, and somebody had sent me an article from Crystal Hefner, my best friend, sent me the article, and that's when I read it and I said, oh my God, I think it's my implants. Finally, I just bawled. And then I was like, okay, well, what's the next step? What's the next step? And I also at that moment said, if it's my implants, I will never, ever not speak up. I will be true to myself. I will let other people know, because if I've suffered this much, if I've lost this much of my life with my children, if I've lost this much time, I will make a difference. No woman should ever have to write those letters. No woman should ever have to go through what I went through. And then it's so simple. You take the implants out, you take them out, and you regain your life. Like, you actually can. It's just mind-boggling at the time that you're so sick, and then you're past being sick, and it's like rebirth. In fact, that's something I say in my group a lot. Happy rebirth, you're gonna fly.
I have a surprise for you. When we do shows like this, our intention is we hope we change somebody's life in a significant way. Well, little did we know that Shelley, our production director, had implants through the whole show, and after listening to all the ladies share their stories, decided to have her breast implants removed.
I remember the day where we went to film all the women, and I hung on every word in their story. And that night, I kid you not, I went home and I cried. Why? Because I finally had hope. I finally had an answer to what was going on with me. And I didn't waste time after that. I researched physicians and I found a really great physician that I resonated with, and I had my breast implants taken out. And can I tell you, I am 2 months out now and I feel like my life has just begun. I feel like $1 million. I forgot what it felt like to feel good. I am just extremely grateful. I'm grateful for Debra and the entire Under My Implant team. I'm grateful for you. I am especially grateful for the women that are out there that had the courage to tell their story.
Well, it's been a few weeks. Let's see how Emilia's doing.
Going into surgery, I felt so much fear and anxiety. I was so nervous, but after waking up, I felt like 10 pounds were lifted off my shoulders. I felt calm. I felt peaceful, unlike anything I'd ever felt even before the surgery.
Having the breast implants didn't fulfill me the way I thought that they were going to, and there was that moment, particularly I think when I realized I also needed to get them out. I need to show my daughters that focusing on their health is the #1 priority.
Everything you look at in life is risk and benefit. And the risks are too great. It's too great, and you're beautiful just the way you are. Beauty comes from the inside out, and we have to start seeing that and being comfortable with the changes of our body and know that they're still beautiful.
It's been an amazing journey, and it was great to learn why women made the decision to have breast implants, the complications that they dealt with, and then yes, the decision to go back under the knife and have them removed. And one thing I noticed as I got to know these women and listen to their stories is a positive energy flowing from them. And so I really wanted to ask them, what is it that rests underneath your implants?
What's under my implants? Freedom.
And self-love. Purpose.
Instincts.
My heart.
It is a grace for me.
I wanna feel something. I just wanna breathe again. Dive into the deepest end. Oh, I wanna feel something. Let me get back in my body. Oh, I wanna open my hands. I know that healing is for